So, will you give a hand to Joel Chua?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay. Actually, sometimes I wonder why I am doing this while I'm here, but I'm doing this for God and my brother. Yeah. Okay. So I've written down what I want to say. Okay. Hi guys. I'm Joel. As Pastor Chong Wei has said, and I decided to agree to this sharing because partly my brother asked me to, and I've never said no to him, so why not? Like, why would I say no now? I guess it's a pretty good opportunity to talk to people about how God is working in my life. And Pastor Shumway gave me some guidelines that made life a lot easier, so thank you. Thank you. Okay, now coming to the end of 2024, looking back, God most definitely blessed me with a very loving family and a really good company that has made my life a lot easier. And I didn't really think much about God and only started caring more about Him honestly until probably like the end of last year. So I'm pretty new in faith, and one of the biggest blessings that I was given to Him, by Him, was peace. And looking back, without Him, life was not really great lah. And I didn't have a purpose in life, and honestly, I didn't know what to do, and that's how I got to know Him. In my lowest of times, this was last year, or like not long ago lah. I was talking to Him because I didn't want to talk to anyone, and at that point in time, I didn't want to talk to anyone. And I told God that I know You exist somewhere out there, and I'm really struggling now. So if You do love me, please, I need help now. And yeah. And the following day, or that week, I think, I met up with one of my close friends, and he said to me like, Joel, how's your walk with God? And I was pretty shocked because this is the first time I've ever been asked like about my walk with God, and I was thinking like, must be a coincidence lah. Because whenever things like that happen, we think is coincidences. But I just said, that's a random question. He wanted to know. And like, to this day, he said something to me that when he was gonna go home, like after I hung out with him, he told me, bro, you're such a good friend of mine. I would love to see you at the gates of heaven someday. And like, that put a heartstring, because he loved me so much as a best friend that if I didn't make it to heaven one day, that would be really crushing for him. And that day I was also thinking like, do I want to spend my life separate, like from God, like for eternity? And the answer is no lah. If not, I wouldn't be up here talking about my testimony. This is one of the few moments in my life where I get reminded that there's a God out there that cares for me and has a purpose for me in my life. And He takes some time out of His life to place people in my life that will guide me back home to Him. I know that as His child, honestly, I've not been doing much. And I've not been doing much for Him. And I do plan to do that more for God. Next year, by living out the word, praying to Him, And the hardest for me, and I don't know if a lot of you agree with this, trusting in His plan. I feel like that's pretty difficult. I speak for myself, but I feel like some Christians out there forgot that the closeness of your relationship with God depends on how much effort you put in and how much you truly love Him. Because if you truly want God to be in your life, you will include Him in everything you do. And I pray that if you all haven't, I encourage you to let God in your life today. I'm going to end my testimony with a simple verse that I'm pretty sure many of you all may know. It's Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Joel. The next person to come up is a young adult, and he actually didn't join the church that long ago, right, Kessler? So Kessler, please come up.
Thank you, Pastor Chong. And thank you, Joel, for the touching testimony. So hi everyone. Thank you for lending me your ears today. I thank God for the privilege and opportunity to share my testimony with all of you. Today I want to share with you about God's goodness and faithfulness toward me in 2024. Personally, this year has been a trying year. I was tested by various circumstances in my career, in my finances, in my marriage, my friendships and relationships, and also in dealing with the busyness of my life, juggling work, part-time studies, and many other engagements. And all these changing circumstances have made the year a very challenging one. Also, as a new member here in ORPC, having joined just 1 year back, there were many internal adjustments which I had to make at the mental, spiritual, and emotional level. Whenever my resources ran low, I turned to God, and I knew that He was always with me. I don't always have clear answers to my life struggle, but God was still faithful and answered my prayers when I was down. I received financial provision during a time of lack, healing during a time of sickness, and wisdom and direction during a time of doubt. Apart from the material blessings and outward guidances, which are all good by the way, He also continues to renew my faith, revive my spirit, and help me to believe in Him. Psalm 23 verse 4 says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." Despite all these trials in life, I want to thank God that in 2024, He had truly been my help. And I thought to the Lord, I may not be able to see you, I may not be able to touch you, but I know that you are with me, and that you still hear my prayer and answer at the right time. Psalm 46 verse 2 says that God is in the midst of her, that is the city of God, and she shall not be moved. God shall help her just at the break of dawn. And there's another quote that says, when you cannot trace God's hand, trust His heart. So, learning to be content and to thank God for the little blessings, I recall that God has also blessed my year with many nice celebratory moments. Going on vacations with my wife as we are newlyweds, meeting many new friends in our Soya DG. I'm also very thankful to all the pastors who have reached out to both of us, my wife and myself, and to check in with us and to pray for us. Psalms 27 verse 13 says, "I would have lost heart unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living." And as 2025 approaches, I have mixed emotions about the new year. Becoming 1 year older also brings with it new challenges, trials, discoveries, you have new questions. But at the same time, there's a chance to look forward to new things, to progress in life, to grow and create new moments and experiences. And I counted that today would actually be exactly 53 days from the 1st of January 2025. And as such, I will ask all of us to look into the 53rd chapter of Isaiah and ask God for a blessing in the new year. And Isaiah 53 verse 5 says, "But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for iniquities. The chastisement for our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed." And I'm asking God for more of his peace internally, and I'm asking God for peace to prevail in our nation in 2025, in Singapore, in troubled parts of the world like the Middle East, in war-stricken land, and people who are suffering distress. I also wish to ask for healing, physical healing, emotional, spiritual healing, and I ask that God will make us ambassadors of Christ's healing to others. And more importantly, I ask to know Christ more and to reflect more of him. After all, he is the fulfillment of Isaiah 53, and that is why we have come to worship him. Thank you all for your attention, and all glory to God.
The last person to share has been with our community for quite some time. She's not so young, and somebody that has served, and somebody that is well loved. So can I call upon Amy?
I told Pastor Chun Wei that he's bullying an old woman. I'm on the threshold of getting into my 85th year. But I thank God he has given me good health, and he has been close to me all my life. And actually thanking God for everything. But since Pastor asked me to share, it's a bit difficult to say for 85 years, there are thousands of things I can thank him. Then he said, I'll give you only 3 minutes, but I've already done 1 minute. Anyway, as such, I think getting into old age, I still don't consider myself old. I think I'm healthier than most of you who are young. Some 10 years ago, I lived alone for about 20 years since my mother passed away. Then about 10 years ago, my niece wanted to stay with me for about a month or two because their place was being renovated. Then when they were leaving, he had 3 children, and his youngest was just about 5 years old. Then he came to me. He was only 5 and a half. He came to me and said, "Poopaw, I'm a grand aunt. Can you please come and stay with us?" I said, No. I like staying by myself. But Poopaw, you will be very lonely. Then he sort of sent me thinking, no, but I'm never lonely. I'm never lonely, although I stay alone, but I'm never lonely. And I would like to say, the right thing to say is I have God with me, but it is not very good testimony, right? Because I'm not thinking about God all the time, but I have so many friends, I have many things to do. Of course, God is at the back of my mind. May not be very good testimony, but He is there. That I know He looks after me all the time. So I have never been lonely, although I stay alone. And then after that, it sort of set me thinking, are there many lonely people around? Then it started me also thinking that maybe I should go and keep company with some of my aged friends. And also, actually, past few years, I've taken it upon myself to visit people who live alone, who are a bit old. I mean, very few people are older than me, so all younger than me. But anyway, I thought probably they will need my company. My company may not be very good, but if I keep them company, it may help them through their difficulties and through their sharing. So this is what I have been doing on my own. I don't want to join actually visiting teams because I'm very tongue-tied in front of a few people. I prefer one-to-one communication. So that is one thing he has asked me to do. Not very good, but I think I make some people quite happy. Another thing is about 3 years ago, I don't know, most of you are younger than me, so you may not have this experience by having a cataract. So cataract is something blurs your eyes slowly. I go to the eye doctor every year. Then he telling me, you have a little bit of cataract. The next year he's saying, you have a little bit of cataract. But I never got anything. I can see everything very well. I can drive, I can read, I can see far, I can see near. Then finally the doctor said, okay, it's time for you to go for operation. Alright, so I went for the operation. And I actually wanted to know what actually he did to my eye. But although he only gave me a local anesthesia, I fell asleep. So I didn't know what happened. By the time I opened my eyes, I came out of the theater already. Then, of course, my eye was patched. Then I went home. And it was in the evening, about 6 o'clock in the evening, and I took off the patch at home. I took off the patch. Oh my goodness, the world was so different from what I saw before. Really, the sun was so bright, the leaves were so green, the flowers were so red. Oh my goodness, what have I been seeing? So actually it sort of set me thinking, have I been blurred in my spiritual vision? Year by year, everything is good, people are happy, people are smiling, and so it's just sort of set me thinking, has my spiritual vision been just as bright? And then I hopefully I have improved in seeing God more clearly and understanding Him better. And lastly, I think many of you, or some of you know that I sing in the choir. Not that I have a very good voice, but I just love singing. From young, I love singing. I know a little bit of music, not very much, but good enough to be able to read music and to be able to sing, hopefully in tune. Maria don't laugh at me. I can sing out of tune. Yeah, and it is very spiritually uplifting for me to sing in a choir, especially after you practice many times. And finally, when you present it on Sunday, I just felt the Spirit was going through. And recently, it's actually most of the time I feel very uplifted. And recently, we sang a song. And I was so very moved, I almost couldn't comment singing. Because two of the verses say, I shared with the choir this before. The longer I serve Him, the sweeter He grows. The more that I love Him, more love He bestows. So that sort of sums up my whole life. That although I don't think I was serving Him well, I did serve Him a little bit, but because the longer, the sweeter He grows. You feel the experience of the sweetness of the Lord. And the more that I love Him, I don't think I love Him very much, I do love Him a little, more love He bestows. Thank you.